Go ahead, producer fam. Thank you for your patience. I'm finally back from my trip from Japan. It was freaking dope. I managed to get a ton of samples from, you name it. Tokyo, Kyoto, Osaka. I went to all the old temples. Went to Imperial Palace. So it was really cool. All that's going to be in a new pack that I'm going to be working on. I still haven't got started on it yet, but, I definitely want to incorporate some cool live samples into there. So with that being said, we're going to cut to the chase. Today, we're going to talk about 3 plugins to help you get that crispy low end. When you get into your car, you think you have a great low end, great mix, right? Because your room's not treated. And you go on, you start playing the song, and all of a sudden, your car starts shaking because there's way too much low end or it's not balanced and it sounds like garbage. Well, this video is here to help you. So the 3 plugins we're going to be talking about today is one free one, which is Span by Voxengo. Another one's going to be called Bass Room. I think it's called by Mixed by the Masters, I believe they're called. And then the third one's going to be by Isotope. It's going to be the Tonal Balance Control 2. 2 of them are for purchase, and one of them is free. Just to be clear, I'm not sponsored by any of them. I just want to give you guys some insight in how I use these tools to better my low end, or utilize it to mix my low end. And it's all about the main goal here, to get out of the bedroom. You know what I'm saying? Get a good mix and actually get to show people what you can do. And also, guys, throughout this tutorial, I'm going to be utilizing the Casa Volume 1 sound bank. It's available on croconation.com. It's a tech house sound bank. If you'd like to support the channel and purchase a sound bank so I can continue making these wonderful videos for you guys, please click on the link down below and it'll take you directly to the page. All right, guys, enough BS. Let's get to it. All right, guys, go ahead and get started. So I prepared a quick demo track. Took me about 10 minutes or so, and then I just added a reference track on channel 1. And I'm going to be using the Casa Volume 1 pack for this for the most part, right? For example, this bass that I have here, it's called the shotgun bass. And so with that being said, guys, we're going to go ahead and start off with the first plugin, which is Span. The cool thing about Span is a free plugin. You can get it on Splice. I think it's available on there, or just the website. The company's called Voxengo. And then once again, guys, any of these plugins I'm not sponsored by. I just want to show you guys the tools that I use to help me with my mixing or my low end and for referencing. So the first thing I'm going to do is show you how I prepare Span, so that way I'm able to reference the way I want to. Obviously, you can mess around with this, but I'll give you some guidelines on how I do it. One of the first things we're going to do is go to routing, and then we're going to go to group names. Then we're going to put master and reference, or REF. Once you're done with that, what you're going to do is you're going to assign colors to each one. So we're going to click the master one, make sure that one's on there first. I chose green. You can choose whatever color you want. And then we're going to go to reference. And with reference, you want to choose a different color, right? So let's go ahead and put this back into master. Once we're done with that, we're going to go over to the settings section here. And we're going to go to block size. In summary, what it's doing is giving you the level of detail, right? So the higher you go, the more detail it's going to have. And then the lower you go, the more it's going to look like a blob, right? It's going to be more of a high-level summary approach. I like it around here, around the 8K mark. But at the same time, you can mess around with it and see what you like best. But this is where I like it. Once we do that, guys, we're going to go ahead and enter our reference track. The reference track that I'm using for this entire lesson is going to be the Hugel song. I think it's called Marianela. It's like a remix from a reggaeton song. And I really like the way it sounds for this demo track that I did. And that's why I chose it. And so when we're done setting up Span, what we're going to do is we're going to go down to our master channel. I typically do it on a master channel, but, it all depends. You're going to go to reference track, right? Sidechain it there, and then you're gonna go to pre-effects. So any effects that come in or it doesn't affect. Next, obviously make sure it's in master, and then we're gonna hit play. So what's gonna be playing is a demo track that I made, but in the background, which is deactivated here, as you can see, the Span is gonna be taking the information from Marianela. I could survive in the coldest conditions. So what you want to do typically, let me back up a little bit here, is you want to go to the drop, because you want to go to the loudest part of the song, especially with your low end. So when you're mixing low end, you want to go to the loudest part. And what I did here is I adjusted this to where the drop kicks in. So I think the drop looks like this. So that's what we're looking for, right? That drop to really make sure that low end doesn't rumble and destroy your car speakers. So I went ahead and I deactivated it again, and let's hear the demo track, and you're gonna see how the information comes in. So remember, the green is the demo track and the blue is the reference track. I could survive in the coldest conditions. Hoes very low, they tone when they spin. Bitches is wash, soap in the dishes.
Forget about it. Like boa constrictors. One bitch, two bitch, old bitch, new bitch. None of y'all bitches not gon' do shit. I'm in Miami, I pull up on cruise ship. You in Miami for also shit. Bitch, two bitch, old bitch, new bitch.
So as you can see here, the information's being displayed. The green is my song, and the blue And the blue is the professionally produced song. And so what you want to do is try to visually match that, right? So you can do it by EQ, maybe some leveling. I recommend more EQ. Wouldn't really mess with the leveling if you've done proper gain staging, but you could do that to match it, right? Now, what I recommend by bringing down those levels is typically you want to start off on each individual channel, like for example, the bass, kind of bring some of that low end out, right? Maybe you want to boost it, right? So it all depends. I think this is a great way and one of many ways to use referencing to get that low end that you're looking for, right? Now, this is more of a high level view, right? It's not really getting into the nitty gritty details, but it's a good baseline, right? It's a great place to start. All right, let's move on to the next wonderful plugin we have here. It's called Bass Room. It's mastering the mix. What did I say? Mix with the masters? I think that's something else. I'm losing it, guys. So this one's really cool because it specifically targets the low end. The other plugin Span was more for the entire spectrum, right? High end, mids, lows, and so forth. But this one specifically targets the low end, which is really cool. So this one has some pretty cool features. One of the first things that I'm gonna talk about is how you can reference in here. So what you wanna do is drag and drop a song that you want to reference. For example, I'm using the same one, the Marianela song. And then you wanna pinpoint which area you wanna reference. And of course, if you're focusing on the low end, you want to go to the loudest point where there's the most low end, and there it is, the drop. So once you do that, you click create targets and it sets it up for you. See those little lines right here? And all you have to do is drag, right? So you drag these bands to that point or that target point. And once you do that, you'll calibrate the low end to your reference track. And there are some cool things. They're split out by bands or different hertz, right? 40, 20, 80, 160. Or you could reduce or increase the volume. And also, if you want to surgically remove some of the frequencies, you can just do this. And it's more of a detailed approach, right? So let's take a look at what the song's playing. Now you're hitting those markers. Oop. See, it gives you those reference points once the song plays. And so let's say you just want to hear one individual band, you have the opportunity to do that too. All you do is control and click. See? And that way you can hear what you're cutting and what you're increasing, right? So this plugin is really, really cool. Highly recommend if you're trying to get that low end just right. And once again, guys, this rule goes for any of the plugins I'm going to show you. This is a great base or visual representation to get your low end where you want to be, right? However, if it sounds like crap, you got to do something about it. You know what I mean? So it's not a one size fits all thing, but it's a great base or great starting point. But you know, sometimes it may work. You may not have to do much. Oh, I got a text. Must be the IRS. And then last but not least, guys, this is tonal balance control. So this gives you certain markers that you want to hit throughout different frequencies. So this could also apply to your, low, mid highs, and then high frequencies. There's different presets. So let's say you're doing, some sort of electronic dance music. It gives you certain points to match. There's a fine visual representation, but I like the broad. That's just me. And it looks like this. And they just say we're doing something crazy and we really want to boost the low end. You're going to see how this goes overboard. See? Then you really blow out the speakers. But typically, the way I like to do it is I like to be more conservative with the low end. I know this sounds crazy, guys, but a balanced mix is better than the shit show. What I like to do, since there's a lot of things going on the low end when you're doing EDM or dance music or whatever, I like to bring it down here, right? Being within this spectrum, but just a little lower, Now you have more room to play with. That's just my take on it. Everybody has their methodologies, but that's what I do. You do whatever works for you. You know what I'm saying? So this is a great resource, guys. So I highly recommend, once again, by starting off in each individual channel and reducing frequencies there or boosting them. depending on your desired outcome or what you're missing. And then also, you can even do it on the master, but you got to be very careful with that because sometimes when you remove things off the master, you may lose some of that oomph, you know, that little low end kick or that punch that's really going to make a difference in your track. So it all depends on what you're trying to achieve. So just make sure that you not only visualize it, but also listen, right? We don't have these big fancy studios where we have everything treated nicely. So this is why we use these things, right? These are the resources that we need to help us get some sort of reference point. All right, guys, I really hope you found that helpful. If you learned something that was useful to you, please consider following us. Click the subscribe link down below. And I really, really feel like this will make a difference in your music. It has for mine, for sure. One of the key takeaways, guys, is remember, it's great to visually reference something, but what worked for somebody else in another song may not work for yours. So just really, really keep that in mind. But nonetheless, referencing is always freaking awesome. You know, they really did the work for you. But once again, guys, thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you soon. Take care.